I fail daily, but I try and make it up in that same moment. It's the beautiful thing about life. As soon as I realize I've fucked up, I'm in. Let's get back on the horse.
In 2010, a 27-year-old in Queens, New York had an idea. Ariane Arslani was pursuing a career in the culinary arts and was actively putting in the hours, but a slip in the kitchen forced him off his feet and to consider other career paths. Born with a natural charisma and a way with words, Arslani had always flirted with music, rapping in particular, but had never taken it too seriously. Immobile, and now with some time on his hands, he adopted the moniker Action Bronson and started to bar up. Over the course of the next decade, he would expand his brand into a string of acclaimed albums, successful TV shows, best-selling books, fine art, and even olive oil, each animated by his unique taste and sense of humor. And it all started with one idea.
Tell me, how did your parents' professional life inform your creative ambitions?
I grew up pretty much in a restaurant, so that was a major influence on me. I always knew I wanted to be culinary. For some reason, that was just always called me. As some would say, because I was a chubster, but I don't think so. I just think that it's within me. They say that a Sagittarius is an oversharer. Like, really, I love to just, here, take this, take everything. I just like to give. I like to make people happy.
So when did music enter into your sort of creative space?
I'm a fucking jukebox, so I don't know. Like, music has always been in my life. Being around an Albanian household with all kinds of different people coming through and going to parties, they would be playing music, live music at every party in the basement, because everyone's a musician.
Were there any rap records that you remember being like, this is interesting, my brain works like this?
To be fair, the first one I ever bought was a maxi single, Rex and Effects, Rump Shaker at Green Acres Mall. I've been into this rap shit forever. I've been into R&B, hip hop, that type of music since forever.
Who were you listening to? Just was on the radio?
I mean, yeah, Mobb Deep, fucking Wu, M.O.P., Nas, Queen shit, Cool G Rap, all the shit that was like mainstream but hard.
So in 2002, do you graduate from high school or you drop out?
Yeah, I dropped out.
How did that go over with your folks?
No one likes to up, you know? But I redeemed myself, I hope, in the eyes of my loved ones. Sometimes takes a little bit of time to find your way.
Tell me about that period between sort of like high school and starting to rap. You went to culinary school?
I went to the Art Institute on Varick and Canal.
Okay.
I had a good time there. I learned a lot of shit, but then I went into the real world. I started working. I was getting high a lot, smoking a lot of weed, driving around in Cadillacs, listening to a lot of UGK in a Cadillac, because I thought that should be hand in hand.
How did you find your experience working in kitchens and being a chef?
You know, that's where I cut my teeth. That's where I learned a lot of shit. That's where I learned how to speak Spanish. That's where I learned how to work under pressure, not collapse, you know? You can't just give up. You're not gonna just walk out. You gotta get it done. And I was very, very, like, creative in the kitchen. Just dancing, you're listening to music, around, like everyone's laughing. You get ideas there, you know?
I know chefs have a very particular way that they organize their time and the whole process. Did that inform sort of how you think about all the various other things that you do?
Absolutely. If you're on time, you're late. In my mind and in my world, you know, you have to be early. And it's all about being prepared. In the kitchen, you have your mise en place, which means everything needs to be in its place. So you're ready to do your job. You're not preparing to do your job while you need to do your job. I live life under that mantra of like, make sure that you're ready so you're not scrambling.
What was that grind like?
6 days a week, 11:30 to sometimes midnight, you know? But I'm not gonna sit here like, yo, sometimes I worked really hard, and a lot of times I jacked off. There's no doubt.
That time though, did that put a fire under you to figure out how to?
Yes, I wanted more for myself. I come from humble beginnings, so there's no doubt I have to always work for what I get for. It's just the way, nothing's ever handed to me, so it's just the way my life is. And I'm fine with that. I embrace hard work. I don't know if there's such a thing as luck. I've been in the right positions a lot at the right time because I've put myself there. So I think it's just hard work outweighs luck all the time.
When did you start thinking about writing rhymes and making music?
My best friend, my brother in life, my man Mayhem Loren, has been a rapper for a long time. And I would always watch him and see him doing shit and go tag along with him. And my whole career started when Jadakiss would write those rhymes where he would say what car he has and then the color of it, the color of hot sauce or the color of water.
Yep.
And that's how my rap career started, trying to make my friends laugh.
Okay.
With those bars, just with that, but how many times I could come up with a variation of that one bar.
How long did it take to get from there till you were starting to put together full verses and songs? And
it didn't really take long. He was like, yo, just write a rap. And I just wrote a rap. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wrote a bunch of lines similar to that, but about other things, about wrestling, other shit I liked.
Yeah.
Shoes, specifically New Balances and the numbers. I'm always very detail-oriented about my depictions of things.
And at this time, Mayhem is making demos and...
But not really, yeah, I think he was running around Queens doing music, and I just got to a point where I was just like, yo, I don't want to just do it during anyone else's time. I kind of want to do this during my time. And I started going to my man P.F. Cutting's studio on Jamaica Avenue in Van Sicklin. 35 bones, $30 an hour, he was hooking it up. And that's all I knew. Do whatever I can in an hour for $30. I could make a lot of happen in an hour. If it's already written, I don't waste time. A lot of the way that I work these days, like not going back and doing something 100 times, like it's 1-2 times and that's it. If it's not that, it's over.
Is that the process you sort of picked up when you were under that sort of time pressure?
Yeah, you're on the clock, so you gotta nail it. Or you have to be comfortable enough with what you've done to say, fine, what am I gonna do? That's it. I feel like that with a lot of things, because you're gonna go back and do it a million times. Something that you have to learn and you have to come to terms with is know when to just be like, you know what, that's it. That's a skill in itself.
So did you think, in 2003, 2004, that was gonna be your path?
Nah, I had no clue.
Okay.
No idea. It wasn't until I broke my leg around 2010 where I was like, F this, I'm not gonna go back to work, I'm just gonna do this full time. And that was it.
And you broke your leg in the kitchen?
Yeah, I just slipped.
Did you know instantly this is an opportunity for change?
I felt it, absolutely. It's like some magic happened, you know? Like when you break the wishbone and some spell happens. That's what happened.
With the sudden change, Bronson decided to go all in on music. The broken leg gave him a chance to reassess and ultimately pivot his career path. Between 2011 and 2013, Bronson released 8 projects, constantly feeding his quickly growing fan base. But he wasn't about to fully leave his past behind. Instead, Bronson merged his two worlds. While cultivating a robust musical following, he also created the iconic Travel Meets Food Meets Hilarious Antics TV show, Fuck That's Delicious, and expanded his celebrity far beyond rap.
You shift your attention, you start working on music.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have the name Action Bronson yet?
Yeah.
How did that come to you?
I was doing graffiti under the moniker Action already.
Okay.
Like writing my name in the street. And like I said, my man Mayhem had 2 names. So I wanted another name to like Mayhem Loren, Action Bronson. My grandfather's, one of his favorite actors was Charles Bronson. It just seemed right.
What inspired you back in end of 2009 to shoot those first In the Kitchen with Action videos?
One of my friends at the time was like, yo, bro, you gotta you got to do this. And I always had that in my mind that I wanted to do something in television, and I guess food television was something that I was always into. And it was just natural. I had the location, I had unlimited product. Another homie of mine, we tried to get MySpace together for me. He put a couple songs up there. He also added music to the video.
So when you're starting to put these videos on the internet, you got your MySpace going. How are you imagining that this is gonna play out, and how did it actually play out?
People started f***ing with me on the Lower East Side first. One of my mans worked at Chop Shop, Frank's Chop Shop.
Yep.
My man Adriel. Him and Uncle Paulie, you know, my man Uncle Paulie, they were like always in everyone's ear downtown playing my shit, and people started listening to them.
When you were making these records that didn't have hooks or bridges or anything, it was just lyrics and beats, that was just...
I didn't know how to make a hook. That's really what it comes from. I didn't know what the what's that? The hook? No, I don't know. Just keep repeating something. I just rather say some other shit and just call for like, yo, yo. That's where my mentality is more comedic.
You've done a lot of projects that are produced by one producer, from the Static record to Party Supplies to Al.
My man Tommy Moss produced the whole project, the first one.
What is it that you are drawn to about that kind of collaboration?
It was, first off, it was out of necessity, but it turned into relationship. Like, I was really comfortable with Tommy. I enjoyed his company. The theme here is I become really good friends with these people, and they become lifelong companions, friends, and collaborators. And that's really the theme with all this stuff. You find some like-minded people, and you capture lightning in a bottle, and that's that. I have so much passion every day for the things that I do, whether it be painting, whether it be this, singing in the tub, who the hell knows? Whatever I do, I put my most in and my best foot forward. And I never want to lose that childish joy that I get from all the things that I love.
When you first started performing live, you obviously have a big personality, very charismatic. Did you feel comfortable on stage?
Nah, I never felt comfortable on stage in the beginning, but it didn't take long.
And is it hard to go up there and perform when, you know, it's not your audience, it's somebody else's audience, and they're not familiar with you?
Nah, I go hard, I go even harder. That's how you win fans over. That's the beginnings, you know? You don't start with a fucking shitload of fans. You have to win people over.
Do you remember a moment that you felt like this is starting to work?
I did a show at Southpaw. It was like one of my first headlining showcase or whatever. And there was a lot of people. There was sold out. And I was just like, damn, man. Maybe this is something. I needed some reinforcement from the outside for sure. That was it. You know, I started just little by little meeting people, and probably around 2011, Dante Ross hollered at me, and I never had a manager. I don't know what the that is. I don't know what's going on. So I just started rolling with him. It was good to be around him because he had a lot of knowledge, and he's been around the game for a long time, and he taught me a lot of stuff in the beginning. He needed to come into my life. It's like part of Zelda, you know, when you meet the guys, different people, they tell you things. He was one of the men that was there early to tell me things. From there, met with Paul Rosenberg, and that was when things really started taking off, because, you know, he's just like, he's a G. Being so passionate and going hard for his people, I just felt like that was the right thing to do, and it was amazing for many years.
When you were having those first conversations about working together, how sort of fleshed out were your respective ideas for what your career could look like?
I had some ideas for sure. That wasn't until we started getting with Vice and telling them exactly what I wanted. I always knew I wanted to do something with television as well, or something recorded video-wise. You know, I wanted a video aspect to my stuff. We pretty much, me, along with two other esteemed people, helped launch Munchies, which is like the biggest food situation on there. And that's really when I realized it was like, all right, no, we have this show that's delicious, and I have the music as well. And it's carved out, and they help each other.
And How did you know to negotiate for ownership of That's Delicious when you're having those first meetings?
That's Paul, but not only that, I created the name. They didn't name it, they didn't come up with the concept. It was my concept. I had already done it when Paul took us out for the M&M tour. I opened up for M in South Africa, New Zealand. I was on the show, and in Australia. I also was shooting something we called Adventure Time at the time with my man Tom Gould. That turned into That's Delicious. It had the adventure aspect, it had the culinary aspect, the heartwarming, you know? It was like a vlog, but like a higher version.
Were there shows that you were looking at, like Bourdain? I would imagine
Of course, we used to love watching that, and Andrew Zimmern. And I love watching culinary shows. I don't know, Essence of Emerald and Jacques Pepin. I love Yan Can Cook.
So did you feel going into your major label debut on Vice Atlantic that there were different expectations either from the company or from the fan base?
Yeah, of course, you felt that. As you were getting put, in the studio with certain people and asked to do certain things that you weren't doing before. I was just rhyming over John Cougar Mellencamp before, Now I'm being asked to do other things, like, yo, try this, try that. So I did some of that. I always come back to I can't be held. I can't be told what to do, because that's automatically not gonna want me to do it. I can't take any, like, yo, maybe you should try that now, man. No.
So when you reflect back on the Mr. Wonderful album, how do you feel about it now?
I feel great. There's some things I would have changed for sure. There's no doubt about that, but that stuff did great things for me.
And when you walked away from that record, what was your feeling about how you would approach what you would do next?
Yeah, I never want to do that type of shit again, is what I said. Now, I'm never doing this again. So I went back into my shell and I did Blue Chip 7000. When I listen back to it, it's definitely a great response and exactly what I needed.
Blue Chip 7000 was your last album on Vice.
Yeah.
Was that the natural conclusion of your deal with them, or did you cut it short and
To be fair, I'm not sure. I just know I didn't want to do it anymore, and they were like, all right, it, we're not doing it either, so no one really gave a shit. What did it matter? I'm better off doing things on my own anyway, because I'm not going to give them what they want.
Yep.
And it's going to be a struggle the whole time, and it's why are we doing this?
What was your experience like in the major label system?
I'm not really that type of guy. I don't like being f***ing showed around and just not into it. I don't like the cycle. It's just keep inserting new players, keep inserting new guys, same f***ing bullshit. It's not for me. I carved my own lane.
Well, ultimately, as the talent too, it all falls on you.
There's no doubt about that. I want everyone to understand that don't let any company take control of your destiny. You have to write your own narrative. You are the f***ing author of this story. Not gonna let anybody else write my f***ing story. They can say what they want, but I'm saying exactly what it is.
With the major label system in his rear view, Bronson was eager to continue his musical journey on his own terms. His follow-up release, 2018's White Bronco, demonstrated a new creative freedom which fueled his ever-expanding personality-driven brand. From olive oil and natural wine ventures, to writing books and painting paintings, to taking That's Delicious independent, Bronson found both success and fulfillment by leading into his most authentic interests.
You have that experience and it leaves you feeling not great about some parts of the music industry and the music business. Was taking That's Delicious to TV like part of your reaction to that?
We started the That's Delicious. It started on YouTube and it was tremendous because that's all I knew. But then they were like, yo, we're starting a cable network and we want this to be like a flagship show. Let's go. I've never done it before. Think about shows, man. The Wire, it only has, 5 seasons?
Mm-hmm.
That's Delicious had 4 on cable.
It's crazy.
A couple more on YouTube, and I'm still continuing it right out of my pocket.
Do you plan on monetizing That's Delicious at any point?
monetizing in the sense of, yeah, if someone wants to come on and, be a partner with me, I would love that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna continue to do it on my own. I do little hoodie drops, but that all just helps to promote and to progress being able to shoot the shows and like that,
Yeah.
It just have its own self-generating thing. So I just want to continue doing what I love doing, and that's what I love doing. I still know all these amazing chefs. I go to all these amazing restaurants. That's delicious. That was great. But these are also now new experiences. Those are old. We have to continue.
When did you start getting into the visual art, outside of obviously graffiti, but like thinking about it for album covers and that kind of business?
I was playing in the celebrity softball game 2019. I hit a double. I legged it out. I felt the back of my knee pop. Mariano Rivera scored. I tore my meniscus. I was supposed to go on tour the next day into Europe, Had a big month-long festival run. And I was just here, I couldn't go. My knee was mad swollen, I was f***ed. So I was depressed, just started painting. I was like, f*** this, I'm gonna use my time that I'm down on the shelf. Just like me creating more rap music spawned from an injury. I just get hurt and shit happens.
You were saying that you paint over and over and over
until I'm satisfied.
Until you get to, can you see it in your head when you start or not really?
I think I do, but then it always changes. There's at least 12 to 16 paintings underneath each one of these paintings, so that's why I hold them so dear. It's like, I never know when it's right until it's right.
Okay.
There's been a lot of painting sacrifice and a lot of good paint. That's why there's good texture there.
I grew up reading comics, right? So I was obsessed with dudes like Frank Miller. And you look at their early stuff, it's really tight. Every line is very purposeful. And then you get to sort of the middle or the end of their career when they really get to the peak of their powers, and it's much more gestural and just loose. And I feel like both in your music and in the art, there is this sense of kind of like the mistakes are not mistakes. They're kind of the point of it.
I feel like it's been like that for a long time with me. Imperfections to me are even better than being perfect. I actually hate perfect. I hate when it's too nice or it's too good. It's f***ing stale. Like, man, that has such funk and such style to it.
Well, that's...
The funk, I like funk. That's why I draw with my left hand.
Really?
Because my right hand is too fine. I have too much control with my right hand. So it gives it a little bit of added childish funk.
So when you paint?
A lot of it, yeah. Sometimes I use my right, but a lot of times I use the left.
So tell me about when you're working on something like this. How's it come together?
Well, you see, there's a lot of things here that are whatever, you just did that. But then you see me meticulously doing that with a nail. Because I like fine detail as well, mixed with garbage, mixed with a big blur. It's what my eye sees.
Is it done now?
No, it's not.
So
I have to add, you know how they usually call for Batman, the thing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do a light, it's gonna shine right there, and it's gonna have the Rough Rider symbol. I'm dead serious.
It feels like your brand, it grows with you, and you get interested in something, and then you just go down the rabbit hole until it gets to the place where you feel like you can share it.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. A lot of paintings, I don't know if I'll ever show these things, or maybe I will. I don't do paintings to show them. I do them for therapy. If I really like them, it'll be my album covers.
And when you put out a record these days, what are the goals that you have for each project?
I mean, happiness after it's done for me, reaching out to my fans, having new fans appreciate things, and just, continuously give a part of me, a chapter of whatever is on my mind at the time.
Is it more challenging to create when you know that you have a fan base and that they have certain expectations?
No, I don't go by anyone's expectations. I don't give a shit. I don't care. To me, everything that I've been putting out for the past however has been fucking straight fire.
Do you see an evolution in your style over time?
100%. And not only that, a lot of things changed where I took control of every aspect of what I put out there. The art, the executive producing of all the beats, like collecting, you know what I mean? Just everything that I need, I'm self-sufficient at this point.
Is there a book you think everyone in the world should read?
Yeah, I got 3 of them. That's Delicious, Stone Beyond Belief, It, I'll Start Tomorrow, and we're gonna keep going.
In the last few years, you started developing products outside of music and art and things like the olive oil. How do you think about extending your brand into those spaces?
It's about passion. Olive oil is right up my alley. The man that I work with, Nick Coleman, is a man who does not cut corners when it comes to quality, knowledge, know-how, execution, all of the above. And that's the type of man I am, so that's who I love working with. I'm doing the artwork. The newest one has my brand new child's artwork, because I love the innocence of the first expression of someone's art. So for me, those things, they mean something.
Do you feel like you approach fatherhood differently now versus 15 years ago?
For sure. I'm much more mature, I would imagine.
Okay.
Some might say no.
Did having a family change your ambition?
You always want to do better for your family. So having children early, there's like, I can't. There's no way that I could stop. I have to pay for them.
Yep.
I have to figure it out for them. So what am I gonna do? There's no option for failure. So I guess that's definitely a part of it. And I want to be a good example for everybody. I want to be the health example, as well as teaching them about life. I want them to work out. I want them to stay fit, shredded. I don't ever want them to have to take away, because right now I'm seriously shredded. It's just a lot of fat covering it.
What was the first step?
Stop drinking sodas.
Okay.
Stop eating dessert at every meal. Talk about it. I wrote that book, It, I'll Start Tomorrow, because that's literally, it's what you always do. I'll start tomorrow. I wrote that book, and that was really the catalyst to help me realize, damn, I'm waxing poetic about ring dings and shit I used to eat, and taking steroids back in the day, and like glory days of 15, 20 years ago. What am I doing now? Nothing. What the am I doing? I talk about how I used to be jacked, how I used to work out, I was an athlete. What am I, kidding myself? I'll show you what I do. And here it is. I'm more athletic now than I've been in my entire life.
Do you have an ultimate goal that you're reaching, besides just sort of general getting healthier?
Shred. One word.
So we're gonna see you out here,
Vascular.
veins popping.
Yes, I'd like that one day. But not where it's like, oh man, this guy's on a lot of juice. I might take a little bit, maybe, but I don't want you to know that I'm on it. All these things are just tools of torture. There's no machines. There's nothing here that's gonna be an easy thing. Everything is hard.
Where did you start?
Just start doing push-ups.
Okay.
Push-ups and walking. Whatever you could do to break a sweat, which really didn't take much. Just gotta put a consecutive string of workouts together. Get your diet right. You just have to build habits.
Do you have sort of a macro plan in terms of do you look at at the end of the year, all right, I made X amount of money. This was more or less than last year, or if I want to make more or less next year, I need to tour more, I need to do this less, or?
I'm not fueled by that. I'm not fueled by the money. Of course, each year we get progressively better. Business is always going to be handled, and I have good people that are around me for that, but it can't fuel you, because that's not my motivation. I don't get motivated by that type of shit. To do certain things, not creating art, to then now show my art, or then now go perform what I have to do, I'm motivated by that, by money. But to make it, it has to be within.
So when you start 2022, for example, you have some loose creative goals?
I have several goals, and still.
Okay.
To progress That's Delicious, to do a That's Delicious festival, which has been in my mind for many years, and I'm trying to make that come to fruition this year, to put out 2 projects, to continue on to put out 3 to 4 olive oils. I want to do a lot of different things. The one thing I want to do is I want to make my motherfucking debut in wrestling.
WWE?
Nah, I'm looking at AEW. I'm not gonna say no to WWE, but AEW. I want to seriously slam someone bad, but good, without hurting them too bad.
How would you describe sort of your journey and the successes you've had? Has it been a linear?
There's always times of this and that and this and that, and moments of struggle and moments of doubt and self-destruction. You know, sometimes you shoot yourself in the dick, you know? It's really about perseverance, survival of the fittest. There's not many things that are gonna get me down.
Have you ever felt that like this could end at some point?
It could end at any moment. You always gotta realize, you gotta know that. That's why I'm never surprised. You gotta save, you gotta understand, you gotta plan.
How did you get that discipline?
I don't know. It's like, how did lizards grow arms, you know? When they were slithering before, you needed to. I don't wanna slither anymore, I wanna walk. Most people are inspired by people that actually do shit, you know? It's like, damn, I wish I could do it, but you really can. You just gotta put your mind to it and just stop f***ing about. I'm good at executing, especially everything that I wanna do that's in my mind. I won't stop until I f***ing do it. It's gonna haunt me, but I'll get it done.